Tonight, joining me on a special edition of Nightline, Dominique Jackson, one of the stars of the groundbreaking TV show Pose, here to help us bring attention to the fact that this year alone, at least 18 transgender women of color have been murdered.
It's not just murders. Countless more of my trans brothers and sisters have survived brutal attacks. It's a subject deeply personal to me as someone fighting for transgender visibility, with many in my community wondering, am I next?
Tonight,
my name is Malaysia, and you can call me Lay.
The story of Muhlaysia Booker, an out and proud trans woman, brutally beaten, then murdered.
Say her name!
Malaysia Booker!
My reaction, honestly, was, am I next?
Now taking a stand on the streets, on TV.
How lucky are we? We create ourselves.
And on the political stage.
Claire Legato, Muhlaysia Booker.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We're back now with actress Dominique Jackson, here to highlight the often overlooked state of hate and violence against the transgender community, especially trans women of color.
It's so important because the transgender community is oftentimes marginalized in America. Our stories unheard, dismissed, and discarded. Tonight, emotional and frightening stories from the victims.
And close your eyes. Open your eyes. Smile.
When you see Muhlaysia, you instantly see the biggest smile.
Muhlaysia Booker's personality sparkles.
She's very infectious.
My name is Malaysia, and you can call me Lay.
Hey, best friend.
Out and proud. At 22, a beacon for other trans women in Dallas who admired her, like her self-appointed auntie, Jasmine.
I have been trans all these years, but I mostly lived in my house. She made me want to get out and live and just be visible.
But that visibility made Muhlaysia a target. In April, a minor fender bender escalating into a horrifying assault. A warning, it's difficult to watch. Bystanders capturing it all on video, quickly going viral. Muhlaysia later told police her attackers hurled transphobic slurs at her. This man was arrested for the beating. His lawyer tells us he intends to plead not guilty.
I get the chills coming here. The whole apartment complex was outside and nobody helped her.
After several excruciating minutes, a few women finally dragged Muhlaysia to safety, unconscious, with a concussion and a broken wrist.
This happens on a daily. Another one of my friends got killed right up the street from here. It breaks my heart, but it's reality. As a black trans woman, it makes me feel scared. I feel alone, I feel ashamed, I feel hopeless.
Muhlaysia was feeling that hopelessness too. After the beating, it was Auntie Jasmine who Muhlaysia asked for.
So I just started praying over her. She pulled me by my shirt and she tells me, Amy, I told you they hate us. Our own people hate us, they want us dead. I'm actually feeling very nervous right now.
A transgender woman punched and kicked in the street by a group of men, and the brutal attack is all on video.
It wasn't the first time she'd been attacked, but this time, Muhlaysia chose to speak out.
This time it was me, the next time it could be someone else.
But before she faced those cameras, Jessica Anderson, her best friend from long before she transitioned, helped her get ready.
When I got done with her makeup, this was the first time I ever seen my best friend look at herself and just be like, I look really, really pretty. I look like a girl. And she was really, really, really beautiful that day.
I can stand before you, whereas in other scenarios, we are at a memorial. Our time to seek justice is now. If not now, when?
A brave, beautiful moment, but Muhlaysia would never see justice. Just weeks after that rallying cry, in the quiet of an early morning, Muhlaysia was found dead.
Detectives found Booker face down early Saturday morning.
Police say Muhlaysia Booker was shot and killed.
At approximately 3 p.m., the victim was positively identified as Muhlaysia Booker.
She was left here on the side of a road.
I just really can't imagine somebody doing it to her.
Dallas police arrested this man for her murder. His trial pending. His alleged motive still unclear.
Muhlaysia was somebody's daughter. Muhlaysia Booker was human. She wanted to live like everybody else.
Malaysia is one of at least 18 trans women of color who've been killed this year alone. The real number likely higher. The data shows the trans identity of nearly 3/4 of victims is initially left out from police and media reports.
Trans rights are human rights! Trans rights are human rights!
The American Medical Association calling the violence an epidemic.
Muhlaysia Booker, say her name.
Malaysia Booker!
Over several months, we traveled the country, hearing similar stories of anti-trans violence. What was your reaction to hear not one, but 2 trans women of color gunned down in a matter of months on the same street?
I was shocked. My reaction, honestly, was am I next?
But ask yourself, if it was any other community being targeted, would there be more outrage?
I feel like I'm an endangered species and I'm aware of that, but I cannot stop living.
The struggles of women like Jasmine have been largely ignored. The media spotlight has mostly been on white trans women like Caitlyn Jenner, Jazz Jennings, and Kim Petras. That's now changing, thanks to boundary-pushing shows like Pose. Now, stories about the non-white trans struggle are becoming more visible.
11 girls have been killed this year.
She would have wanted us to honor her memory.
Leading the charge for awareness, trans celebrities of color themselves, like Laverne Cox. Both Dominique Jackson and India Moore have been open about their past struggles.
I've already seen the worst of what my life could be, so it's very easy for me to stand up for myself and others without thinking too much about the risks that come with that.
The risks are something that these trans youth face daily. They come here to Casa Ruby, a safe haven in the nation's capital.
When you're in this life, it's survival of the fittest.
Many who seek shelter here say they've been kicked out of their homes for being trans.
When you've been rejected by everyone that you supposedly love, you come here to find love and support.
And have you ever been verbally abused, physically abused out in the world?
I mean, once. I mean, I got raped like 5 times, but that's something.
Bianca, that is not normal.
That's something.
But you just dismissively say, I was raped 5 times.
Yeah, because I don't want to give any emotion to it, because if you don't give anything to it, then it won't grow. And I'm not trying to give no emotion to that, because it happened so long ago.
I've been followed home. I've been stalked. I've had guys try to sexually harass me in just disrespectful ways.
We wake up in a world that is not designed to support transgender people, to welcome us in school, to give us a chance to get an education. Employers are not eager to hire us.
Casa Ruby is named after this woman, Ruby Corrado, an early activist for trans rights.
My job is to restore their dignity. My #1 role here is to restore everything that has been taken away from them.
But when pushed to the margins, some trans women of color turn to what they call survival sex work.
It makes us vulnerable. When we're doing it, we're looking for the next dollar. We can't really block off this person just because we feel a little scared. Girls have been stabbed and thrown out of cars.
If you don't find that nurturing that you need to survive, more than likely you will die. And most of us died before we're 30.
Zoe Spears never made it to 30. She was 23 when she was killed this past June.
This is our memorial to Zoe and Ashanti. They are the last 2 girls who lost their lives this year.
Ruby takes pictures of all the girls, like Zoe, who call this place home, for a very poignant reason.
I want to have the closest reminder, because I know that there's a possibility that they will not come back.
That's just heartbreaking.
Here here on the outskirts of D.C., on a street known for survival sex work, is where Zoe took her last breath.
She was shot on her back. Can't run away from guns and hate when they live in your community.
Ruby has lost more than 30 of her girls in the past 7 years, but the hurt stings just as much every time.
I couldn't be here. I've been in her life for a long time. I've been her protector. And I couldn't save her. I couldn't keep her from losing her life.
At the end of the day, what killed Zoe Spears?
Society killed Zoe. She had a lot of dreams, and every door that she knocked, very often they will say no.
Keep recording.
When we come back,
They're threatening me and my friend. We don't feel safe.
how a girls' night out
I'm gonna call the cops!
ended like this.